And our next guest says that the federal government needs to offer the public a better response to drone sightings, including a clear path of action. Bill de Blasio is the former mayor of New York City, and he joins us now in studio. Mayor de Blasio, thank you so much for joining us on American Agenda. I understand this is your first appearance on Newsmax, and we're happy that it is with us on our show.
Happy to be with you. With a controversial topic on top of that.
It sure is. And, when I saw you nodding your head during our last guest comment saying that this is also a bad signal to our foreign adversaries.
Yes. Look, when I was mayor of New York City, we were the #1 terror target in the nation. And we all remember 9/11 like it was yesterday. So we have to be real about the fact that there's still plenty of forces out there, state actors and non-state actors, who are trying to disrupt us. I don't like what I'm seeing one bit. I think the senator had a good point. Let's have the federal government say, okay, we're going to one by one tell you what each of these are. We've heard reports, some of them might have been scheduled flights. Great, tell us what it was. This one was a scheduled flight. That one was a delivery company. This one is a special operation of the government, and we're not going to go into details, but we're going to tell you the government's doing that. But we're not hearing that kind of delineation. I learned the hard way, honestly, as mayor. When I tried to keep it close to the vest, it did not help the public to have confidence in the government. Sometimes it's messy to try and explain things, but it's better always to be as transparent as you can be. So what I see right now, something's going on the government's not giving us a full enough explanation on. If, in fact, some of that's just individuals doing things, but doing them too near to sensitive locations, we have to have a protocol to say, I agree, give them their warning and then take them down. Mm-hmm. And then finally, we got to look at the laws of our country, because right now, rightfully, it's right to say, not in the case of an individual, don't be a vigilante and try and shoot down a drone. A lot of problems could come from that. The drone could fall on people, kill people.
That's right. Could fall right on
somebody's
head.
Yeah.
Correct. So that could be a backfire. But if the laws don't give a clear path for addressing a drone that might be nefarious, and it's just a wild, wild west, that's not good either.
So we don't know exactly, and you yourself, Mayor, said you're not happy with the response. The thing I'm hung up on is 2 days ago at Mar-a-Lago, President Trump came out and he was kind of like, yeah, guess what? And he would know this as the former president-elect, that the government, one, does know, and two, that he was going to postpone a trip to Bedminster because of this. That doesn't sync up with the nothing to see here kind of thing that we're hearing out of the government right now.
Yeah, I'm a little confused by that, because if the government does know.
Right.
And so, in other words, I would say, since he will be our commander-in-chief again, I would hope if the government does know, and we certainly have faith in our military capacity, that he's not suggesting that there might be a threat there for Bedminster. But look, in the end, I think it is helpful for people to hear what the government will do if there is a threat. I think playing out that scenario, one of the things we did in New York City a lot is we described what we were doing to stop terror attacks, and we described what we're doing if we found a lead, all the tools we would bring to bear to make sure that that lead never turned into an actual attack. I think we have the equivalent of that here. Obviously, I am worried to death, whether it's the Chinese, the Iranians, the cartels in Mexico, whoever, that someone might be trying to figure out if we have a soft spot. Right. They might be probing. We need to make very clear you're not going to get away with that. So this is where some visible response, both in terms of information, but also delineating very clearly this is what's going to happen if you try this, would be very, very appropriate at this point.
Mr. Mayor, while we have you, I want to ask you about another threat to New York City and also to our country. We're talking about illegal migrants. And I know during your administration, during your term, rather, you introduced a lot of the sanctuary city laws here in New York City. Many of them, people are trying to repeal them or repeal them at this time in order to say, okay, we're not doing it anymore. What is your reaction to what you've seen throughout Mayor Eric Adams' term with these illegal migrants?
Look, let me not speak about my successor, but speak about the bigger issue. I believe if someone commits a crime, a serious crime, a violent crime, they should be deported. But I also believe in due process. So our law says in New York City, we list, I think it's 170 specific crimes. If you are found guilty of that crime and you're undocumented, you're out of here. I think that's a good way to do it, because a profound American value is due process. One of the things that the founders of this republic decided a long time ago is being accused of something is not the same thing as actually having done it until there is due process. But if there is due process, you're guilty, you need to be out of here. Now, you can absolutely debate whether that should be, for example, if you get a parking ticket, or if you have a fender bender, should you be out of here? That's a valid discussion. But where I think everyone can agree, if it's a serious crime or violent crime, of course. The problem is, when we talk about mass deportation, I don't think it's an honest conversation with the people of this country. Our entire economy, whether we like it or not, is built upon, let's call it 12 million people who are here undocumented, but are a crucial part of our workforce, including our farms, our service industry. So I think it'd be more honest to say those folks are not all going to be deported. And by the way, the vast majority of them, of course, do not commit crimes. Where we all agree, I think Democrat, Republican, progressive, conservative, is someone harms their fellow citizens, they have no right to be here.
Yeah.
But I was just going to say, though, isn't it a crime for people to be here illegally to begin with?
Of course it is.
Okay.
But again, here's the problem I have with that discussion, too. I agree. I would love a world where every single human being only came in legally. But that train left the station decades ago. You can't wish away the fact that there's 12 million people here, and honestly, nothing was done by either party to stop it.
Mayor, real quick, they're telling me to wrap. Any regrets about any of your time when it comes to immigration in office, about any laws that you pushed through or anything like that?
My regret is that we need to better all the time what's happening at the border, and that, again, is a Democrat and Republican problem. And then on the receiving end, always making sure if someone is arrested, that we have speedy due process. I think that's a problem bluntly, city, state, everywhere. Our due process system is still not fast enough. There's not enough judges, whether it's asylum judges or criminal judges. I didn't create it, but I regret that that's the reality. I didn't find a way to fix that either.
Former Mayor of New York City, Bill de Blasio. Thanks for coming on. Welcome in.
Thank you.
Stop back soon.
Absolutely. You're welcome anytime.
Thanks so much.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Happy holidays.
Happy holidays.
Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas.
Appreciate that. All right.